स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. After the summer recess, we have just started now our gospel classes. Sri Ramakrishna has given number of spiritual ideas, making easy for us to have our own selection of these ideas and practice them sincerely and get the result. So today's topic, I am speaking on the concept of God. Lots of people all over the world have various notions about God. It is constantly going on all over the world about the mystery of God, whether one could see God, whether God has any particular form, or God is formless. So lots of discussions are being done to know the clear concept of God. It is very essential to have clear understanding of what is God. Then only it inspires us to practice spirituality in order to realize the God. Well, there are various notions about God, but Vedanta accepts all these notions and spells out its own concept of God. We are very fortunate that we have Sri Ramakrishna, who did practice spirituality and realized what exactly God means. So, an authentic record and life demonstration is in front of us. Sri Ramakrishna clearly said that God is there. God has infinite forms. God is formless also. He is both formless and he has forms. One can see God's divine forms. What is needed is one should strongly aspire to realize God. Whatever the notion one cultivates in himself, it will lead him to the realization. The ultimate reality, which the Vedantins call Brahman, is absolute. It can't be fully described because it is by its very nature infinite. Even Sri Ramakrishna tried to explain, but he couldn't do it because when he tried to explain the highest transcendental state, his mind got merged into the reality and he went into samadhi. He could not talk any more further. He tried again and again, same thing happened. Then Sri Ramakrishna declared, yes, the absolute reality cannot be described in words. Yato vacho nivartante. Upanishad says that. It is beyond mind. So, Sri Ramakrishna has shown through his experience that there is ultimate reality which is absolute. The ultimate reality is one, but different people with different backgrounds try to understand, try to experience, and try to describe it in their own way. When God is realized through the various spiritual disciplines of different religions, the experience is basically the same, though descriptions of it will differ. Swami Vivekananda has said that the various descriptions of the ultimate reality are really different readings of the absolute. In an often quoted definition of the personal God, Swami Vivekananda stated, he is the highest reading of the impersonal that can be reached by the human intellect. And what else is the universe but various readings of the absolute? Suppose there is an Englishman who has seen God. Suppose he tries to describe his experience. What language he would adopt? He would adopt English. He would explain, describe his experience in his own language. In the same way, if the person is American, he will use American English. Even so, in Vedic days, Vedic Sanskrit was the medium of expression. Sri Ramakrishna has explained very nicely. It is like water called in different languages by different names. There are 3 or 4 bathing ghats on a lake. The Hindus who drink water at one place call it jal, pani. The Muslims at another place call the same water as pani, and the Englishman at a third place calls it water. All 3 denote one and the same thing, the difference being in name only. All of them are referring to the same water, but giving different names. So there will be naturally a variation in the language used to describe the experience of the ultimate reality. And the difference is not merely in the language used. The description will also be colored by the nature of the mind of the person who undergoes the experience and the degree of preparation that person has. The differences that we often come across in our study of the various religions of the world are the result of the differences in our upbringing and in the varieties of preconceived notions we use in order to understand things. A mind that has a higher experience and then comes down to a lower plane and tries to explain it will naturally rely on the past impressions of its own experiences. According to Vedanta, this is the real explanation for the differences in the descriptions of the ultimate reality that we find in different religions. But in their highest reaches, the experiences of mystics and sages of all religions are the same. Now, how do we look upon the personal God from the standpoint of the monistic Vedanta? Many philosophers and logicians have brought arguments against the idea of a personal God. But Vedanta explains it this way. The ultimate reality is absolute. The absolute exists in itself, yet we try to look at it from our own perspective. When we begin our search from the standpoint of the world, when we seek to know the creator, preserver and destroyer of the universe, our search leads us to the personal God or Ishvara. This is one way of looking at the absolute, which in itself defies description. All we can say is Ishvara is Ishvara. The personal God is a personal God in relation to the created universe. How it is very important to know this notion of personal God. We shouldn't have any conflict in understanding the things. If there is no creation, there is no personal God. A father is a father in relation to the child. If there is no child, there is no father, only a man. So, there is God as God is, and God as God seems to us. That is the position of Vedanta. All conceptions of a personal God are explained in this way. That's why Swami Vivekananda stated it so strongly and in a very philosophical garb when he said that the personal God was the highest reading of the absolute by the human intellect. When some read the Absolute, it appears to them as a father, to some as a mother, to others as a punisher or rewarder, and so on. It is perceived according to the attitude of the individual, and all the various viewpoints are valid. Are they real? They are all real. Take an example of the child and its mother. The child is interested in the mother aspect of the woman. But when the child says, "My mummy is coming," is it only the mummy portion of the woman who comes, or the entire woman? Similarly, whatever attitude we take, it's a question of angle of vision. That is the important point. But just because something represents an angle of vision, it doesn't mean that it is false. It means that it is only one aspect, not the totality. It has been argued that if the totality could be conceived by a limited mind, it would not be the totality, because our minds and thoughts are limited. The totality can never be a property of the limited mind. Every description is a limitation. And because our understanding of God is conditioned by our bodies and minds, we find the anthropomorphic conception of God common to many religions. An account of our human emotions, we seek the ultimate reality in a personal form which we can communicate with. But for the saint who has realized God, there is no difference between the absolute Brahman and the personal Ishvara. According to our Hindu tradition, there are four main groups holding varying views on the nature of God or the ultimate reality. There are the non-dualistic Vedantins, who generally don't emphasize a personal God. Then there are the worshippers of the personal God, either in the form of Shiva, Vishnu, in his various incarnations, or the Divine Mother in her various forms. In most of the world religions, the personal God is conceived as a masculine, as Father, Lord, Master, and Judge. Many of the appellations of God that we find are likewise masculine in nature. But in Hindu tradition, from early times, the female principle has always been placed on the highest pedestal. God assumes various forms for our own convenience. There is a famous verse addressed to Rama. The absolute Brahman assumes forms for the welfare of devotees. Sadhakanam hitarthaya brahmano rupakalpana. It is very difficult to meditate on the absolute Brahman. How can we think about that which is formless and without qualities? It is easier for us to conceive of and meditate on a form possessed of qualities. And that's what we find in the worship of the Divine Mother. So, these forms of Mother can be taken in different ways as the Absolute, seen from different angles of vision, or as symbols of God. These are the different ways we can view the various forms of the personal God. Sri Ramakrishna began his spiritual life with the worship of the Divine Mother. Later, of course, he practiced Monism, he practiced Vaishnavism, Christianity, Islam, and other disciplines. But he started with mother worship. According to the description we find in Sri Ramakrishna, the great master, when he had his realization, he was not seeing the face of the mother in the human or anthropomorphic form of the deity that he had worshipped. Rather, he saw a wave of light coming toward him and engulfing him. Nevertheless, he felt that it was the mother. Of course, any description one gives of such an experience will necessarily be based on one's own attitude and language. But he felt that a vast ocean, a sea of light, waves of light came in and engulfed him. He completely lost all outer consciousness. He had an overpowering feeling that Mother is present, but it was Mother in her formless aspect. So now, the greatest contribution of Sri Ramakrishna in spirituality is harmonizing form with formless. Swami Brahmanandaji, who often stressed the importance of the worship of the personal God, says that when we begin with meditation on God with form, as Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Ramakrishna, etc., thinking of them as God, gradually the form melts into formlessness. So we can start with meditation on any form, preferably a holy form, which gives rise to holy thoughts. In fact, there was one great devotee who had seen Sri Ramakrishna. Her name was Bhavatarini. She came to Bangalore. I was a brahmachari. At that time itself she had crossed probably 100 years. Anyway, she was very old. Two Swamis escorted her from Benares because she had a desire to go to Rameshwaram, where Holy Mother visited. And he wanted to come to Bangalore, where Holy Mother stayed in the ashram. It's a very auspicious center, most of the auspicious centers in India. And I was a young, very young kid, I should say. And she came and she gave a talk, brief talk in Bengali, and some Swami translated it into English. She was admiring the devotees who were present on that occasion. She said, well, really, your devotion is great. In my case, I saw Sri Ramakrishna, and you don't have to wonder, my devotion to Sri Ramakrishna is natural. I have seen him, so I have tasted the joy of seeing God. But in your case, without seeing him, you are adoring him. That means your devotion is greater than me, like that she would say. And then she narrated an incident. When she was a young girl, she had a black complexion. So the parents were worried who would marry this girl. But those the parents were devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. Once Sri Ramakrishna visited their home, and he sat in a room. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in the room, and this little girl, suddenly she came and she prostrated. She touched the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, and she sat in front of him, looking at him. She narrated this incident. Then she was joyful, seeing the blissful form of Sri Ramakrishna. Little girl, and she was experiencing that divine joy. Looking at Sri Ramakrishna, suddenly Sri Ramakrishna's form vanished. She was wondered, what happened to Sri Ramakrishna? Where did he go? She looked left side, right side, back side, front side. Nowhere. Where did he go? She is just intensely thinking, what happened? How could he vanish? Instantly she saw, in that very place where Sri Ramakrishna sat, there is a light. A mellow light, giving tremendous joy. And she was amazed to see that light. What is this? So Sri Ramakrishna has been merged into this light, but this light is giving tremendous joy. It is not scorching. It is not like sunlight. Very mellow. She was just thinking about and enjoying the bliss of this experience. Suddenly the light vanished. Again she was wonderstruck. What's the next stage? Immediately she saw Sri Ramakrishna again, sitting as he was sitting before. And she explained this to us. I was also there as one of the audience. So Sri Ramakrishna is giving her, showing her that he is veritable God, born on this earth as incarnation, but also is absolute reality, formless. So, first he gave the joy to her. She was looking intently on him, and then he gave her the joy of formless aspect also. And then he made a remark that also she said. Sri Ramakrishna told her parents, look, whoever marries this girl will be the richest person in Calcutta, because she has got the element of Lakshmi. She is Lakshmi herself. So one who marries her will become very rich and he'll be very fortunate. And it became true. Even today, that family, yearly once, they do sadhu bhandar, feeding all these swamis in the Lemont, and they do fireworks during Sri Ramakrishna's birthday. Every year, even today they are doing. On Sri Ramakrishna's birthday, subsequent, the following Sunday, fireworks will be there. The whole premises will be full of people. More than 200, 300,000 people will be there to see the fireworks. So, that's what Swami Brahmanji said. We can start with meditation on any form, preferably a holy form, which gives rise to holy thoughts. The yogis maintain that one can meditate on anything, just so it is the same thing day after day, not one thing today and another tomorrow. So, we can take up any form. This is how even image worship of different deities with different forms can be reconciled. This teaching of Vedanta is capable of harmonizing all religions. And this harmony of religions has been especially emphasized in the modern time by Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. Even if the experience comes through meditation on God with form, gradually we reach the stage of formlessness. This may not happen immediately. We may remain satisfied for a long time with the enjoyment of the divine bliss of union with the deity. But the monistic Vedantists maintain that the experience of the deity in a particular form will vanish at one stage, and the vision of the Absolute or the experience of being one with the Absolute will come. Many devotees also tell me, Swamiji, I am meditating, sometimes I see the form of Sri Ramakrishna in my mind, I am looking at it, I am feeling joyful, suddenly it appears, disappears. And is it real or is it my imagination of the mind? Like the devotees ask me. But I say, no, you can't say it's imagination, but if it comes repeatedly, if you get repeatedly the vision of Sri Ramakrishna in your mind, then it is real. And moreover, it disappears because it is giving you an experience of formless aspect of God. So, you must enjoy both. Still keep continuing repeating the mantra that you have been given by your Guru, and everything will be all right. So, a further question arises with regard to these various forms of the divine. Are they real or not? They all have been identified as aspects of the main deity, but are they real? Swami Vivekananda says that all these forms do have a reality of their own. These are all forms of the divine that have been visualized by great spiritual seekers and teachers in their meditations, and the belief is that they continue to exist for eons. One could have their vision during meditation at any time. Actually, if one thinks of the normal span of human life, an average person rarely lives for more than 100 years. These divine forms are much more real than our human forms. It is said in the Chandi. Chandi is a great holy scripture which generally is chanted during Durga Puja time. It is said in the Chandi that the Divine Mother incarnates herself to destroy the demons and re-establish Dharma. Lord Krishna also declares this to be the reason for divine incarnations in the Gita. From a philosophical point of view, all these divine incarnations and manifestations are different aspects of the divine. That's why it is so easy for a devotee who looks upon God with this attitude to visit different temples and worship the various gods and goddesses without feeling any contradiction. They are all different aspects of the same reality. Suppose you are meditating on Sri Ramakrishna. Suppose you have chosen Sri Ramakrishna as your deity. Suppose you visit temple of Rama, Shiva, Kali. You look upon all these gods and goddesses as Sri Ramakrishna himself. That's why we say in our daily puja, Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. So, they're all different names for the same God. Sri Ramakrishna, through his spiritual experiences, declared the Divine Mother to be a palpable reality. He explained that God can be both formless and with forms. So, how this harmony, this concept of harmony is practiced in Hindu tradition? According to Hindu tradition, nothing is thrown out. The idea is that Brahman, the ultimate reality, is present everywhere. When a deity is invoked, that reality takes on a special form of manifestation. Thus, what might initially have been regarded as a village god or goddesses underwent a process of gradual purification by being identified with the highest conception of God. the religions that arose in Western Asia are normally exclusive in character. Judaism, Zoroastrianism are the earliest, followed by Christianity and Islam, both proselytizing religions. That is, they seek to convert others to their views. So, whenever these religions preached their own ideas, they normally eliminated the previous gods and goddesses. This is my God that our prophet has discovered. He is the true God, therefore the others must be false. So all earlier deities were thrown overboard. But according to Hindu tradition, through the process of reinterpretation, sought to harmonize the different religions and the numerous sects by uniting them under one broad category. The local deity was raised to the status of the highest god. In this way, various village deities were combined, gradually merging into the supreme deity. Very recently, we witnessed the operation of this tendency in Hinduism in the reinterpretation of a local deity of South India. This transformation took place before our very eyes. That's why it has had such an impact on us. And according to tradition, this particular deity was a human being who was divinized not merely as an avatar, but as Brahman itself. This convinced me that there is a great truth behind these arguments. How did it happen? The deity which I am referring to is Ayyappa. Probably you all know the name Ayyappa. Very famous. He is worshipped in Sabarimalai. There is a big mountain in Kerala. Thousands and thousands of devotees they go. It was a regional deity, though quite popular with local people even from early times. How early we do not know, perhaps from 300 years ago. In the late 1950s, the Ayyappa shrine was vandalized. The shrine had been built on a hill, and people generally went there only 2 or 3 months during the year. At other times, practically everything was closed. Once when they went back to open the shrine for the new season, they found that the image of the deity had been broken. Who broke it was not known. As a result of this act of vandalism, a great wave of emotion was unleashed. The Hindu society is very amorphous in nature and not very aggressive. But when a shock like this comes, energy suddenly develops. That is the pattern of 2000 years of Indian history. Normally nothing much happens. But if an attack comes, energy is released. So as a result of this incident, a beautiful temple was built for the deity. And good roads were constructed to the temple. Varieties of images of the deity spread throughout the Indian subcontinent. And shrines were built even in Delhi and other distant places. When devotees pray to the deity, they don't say, "Oh Ayyappa, who is the son of a particular king? I worship you." No. They say, "Oh God, the absolute Brahman, I pray to you." So this incident is a modern example of the process of reinterpretation in which even a local deity is placed on the highest pedestal. Hinduism can make this transition very easily because it looks upon all manifestations as symbols of God. Symbols. The absolute God cannot be grasped by the human mind, so we require symbols. If I am a very philosophical man, my symbol may be very abstract in nature. A vast expanse, the infinite sky, something unlimited. These are other images and conceptions, though subtle. A person who can't think in an abstract way prefers to have more concrete symbols. So he has been given forms of the anthropomorphic type. This is consistent with the three major conceptions of God. God the Absolute, the personal God with qualities such as kindness and love, but no form, and the personal God with both form and qualities. In Hinduism, we find that the personal God has not only qualities, but a variety of forms as well. And why should this not be so? From a psychological point of view, the ideal needs to be presented according to the understanding of the devotee, all the while reminding him that it is through the worship of the form that he is to reach the formless aspect of the divine. This is the idea behind image worship in India. Image worship doesn't mean that some inert substance such as wood or stone is being worshipped. The image is also not a mere icon. It's a symbol of the Lord. It reminds the devotee of the Lord, just as a photograph reminds us of the thing photographed. There's a famous incident in Swami Vivekananda's life. Swamiji once went to Alwar, a state in India. The king of the place was quite young, not very religious, but the Prime Minister wanted him to meet the Swami, because the Prime Minister got convinced that Swami Vivekananda was a great intellectual as well as a man of realization. So the Prime Minister arranged a meeting so that the king could see Swami Vivekananda. All the ministers were sitting there, cabinet, king is sitting there. Then they started talking. The young king asked Swamiji, in a very joking way, he was asking, God may exist, but I don't understand why people worship images. He is not the image. Vivekananda's position was that it did not matter. Hinduism gives one that freedom. Those who like the Absolute may worship the Absolute. If they like images, that is good too. Well, this king was asking that question, now Swamiji has to answer. He answered in a different way. He looked at the wall and saw a picture of the king hanging there. The same king was putting the question. He requested the Prime Minister who arranged this meeting to take the picture off the wall. Then he asked him to put it on the floor and spit on it. They were all shocked. In those days, you must know, a king could cut off a person's head with a mere wave of his hand. Those were very autocratic days. So naturally, everyone was shivering with fever, with fear, not fever, was shivering with fear. And they were stunned at Swamiji's request. What are you saying, Swami? The Prime Minister, his face was looking pale. He asked this, why do you say like this? Then Swamiji laughed. He was not afraid of anything. Who is this king? Swamiji laughed and said, you think that if you dishonor the picture, you will be dishonoring the king. Is it not? But the king is not in the picture. But you as his subjects who love and respect him think that dishonoring his picture is the same as dishonoring him. Then the Swami looked at the king and said, O king, you are sitting in the chair. Nothing of you is in the picture, but because of a little likeness, some suggestion, your subjects think that dishonoring the picture is dishonoring you. It is exactly the same with image worship. It is not that the image is God, but it is through the image that God is being worshipped. As soon as one sees a picture of his absent son, he remembers him. It is the same with image worship. The picture or the image is only a suggestion. It is a symbol. How nicely Swamiji has explained. Now, how does one approach God? As we have said, it is difficult to conceive of the Absolute. It is easy to worship a personal God. Swami Vivekananda defines bhakti as love of God, differentiating it from mere devotion, wherein something is expected from God. In the Vaishnava tradition, great stress has been placed on the loving relationship with God. The Vaishnavas recognize 5 possible human relationships with God. The first is the calm attitude of the yogi, but mixed with a little emotion. Then comes the attitude of a servant God. That is, the attitude of the servant, God is the master, and I am his attendant who serves him. That attitude. Third is the attitude of a friend. In this relationship, the love and intimacy are somewhat greater than that between the servant and the master. The fourth attitude is that of a parent who looks upon God as his or her child, as a baby Krishna, baby Christ, or baby Rama, baby Kali. Such a devotee feels that he is protecting the Lord as a child from all onslaughts. Finally comes the highest stage according to this tradition, the attitude of the consort of God, an unmotivated love based on complete equality. This love, according to the Vaishnava scriptures, is the highest because the lover and the beloved ultimately reach a state of perfect identification. These are the 5 relationships that one can form with God according to the Vaishnava tradition. They are all based on human analogies. To this list, Sri Ramakrishna added one more, the love of the child for the mother, which is of the purest form. When a devotee tries to practice one of the other 5 relationships, expectations may get mixed in, though gradually the relationships do become purified. Loving God with the attitude of a lover may be the most exalted in its highest form, but it often gets mixed up with human ideas. Human emotions associated with these symbolic relationships do not leave a person until he has attained the higher reaches of his practice. Sri Ramakrishna says that the love of God as mother is free from all such defects. It can't be misused. Even the most brutish person will generally have a pure type of love for his mother, free from lust and other lower emotions. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said that the attitude of looking upon God as mother is best, for it raises the mind to a higher ideal right from the beginning. It purifies the mind of its limitations and elevates it to a higher level. So, how nicely Sri Ramakrishna has given us the concept of God. So, you don't have to worry, you don't have to entertain any doubt regarding the various notions prevailing. All the notions of God are true, and they all depend upon one's own attitude and tendencies in the mind. So let us try to understand this principle and practice it sincerely according to our own aptitude. Then we'll certainly realize the truth in this very life. I think the time is closing up. Probably there is not much discussion, and we shall conclude this topic. Now we'll read some passages in the Gospel. Page 784. Master said, but he has red eyes, referring to a devotee. Sri Ramakrishna told the devotees about his visit to Captain's house. Captain had criticized the young men who visited the Master. Perhaps Hazra had poisoned his mind. Master said, I was talking to Captain. I said, nothing exists except Purush and Prakriti. Narad said to Rama, O Rama, all the men you see are parts of yourself, and all the women are parts of Sita. Captain was highly pleased. He said, you alone have the right perception. All men are really Rama, being parts of Rama. All women are really Sita, being parts of Sita. Immediately after saying this, he began to criticize the young devotees. He said, they study English books and don't discriminate about their food. It is not good that they should visit you frequently. It may do you harm. Hazra is a real man, a grand fellow. Don't allow these young people to visit you so much. At first I said, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, what can I do if they come? Then I gave him some mortal blows. His daughter laughed. I said to him, God is far, far away from the worldly minded, but God is very near the man, nay, within a distance of 3 cubits, whose mind is free from worldliness. Speaking of Rakhal, Captain said, he eats with all sorts of people. Perhaps he had heard it from Hazra. Thereupon I said to him, a man may practice intense austerity and japa, but he won't achieve anything if his mind dwells on the world. But blessed is the man who keeps his mind on God, even though he eats pork. He will certainly realize God in due time. Hazra, with all his austerity and japa, does not allow an opportunity to slip by for earning money as a broker. Yes, yes, said Captain, you are right. I said to him further, a few minutes ago you said that all men were parts of Rama and all women parts of Sita, and now you are talking like this. Captain said, yes, that is true, but you don't love everybody. I said, according to the scriptures, water is God. We see water everywhere, but some water we drink, but some we bathe, and some we use for washing dirty things. Here sit your wife and daughter. I see them as embodiments of the Blessed Mother. Thereupon Captain said, yes, yes, that's true. He wanted to apologize by touching my feet. After speaking this, Sri Ramakrishna laughed. Then he began to tell of Captain's many virtues. Master said, Captain has many virtues. Every day he attends to his devotions. He himself performs the worship of the family deity. How many mantras he recites while bathing the image. He is a great ritualist. He performs his daily devotions such as worship, japa, arati, recital of the scriptures, and chanting of hymns. I scolded Captain and said, too much reading has spoiled you. Don't read any more. About my own spiritual state, Captain said, your soul, like a bird, is ready to fly. There are 2 entities, Jivatma, the embodied soul, and Paramatma, the supreme soul. The embodied soul is the bird. The supreme soul is like the Akasha. It is the Chidakasha, the Akasha of consciousness. Captain said, your embodied soul flies into the Akasha of consciousness. Thus you go into Samadhi. We shall stop here. Any other question? Do you have any question? All questions are solved. Thank you. Guru. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that both are very souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away, there is desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.